Hayagriva belongs to set of four Buddhist Bhairavs. Buddhist considers Bhairav as a protective and fierce deity who wears a scalp of a horse on his head and carries chains and fetters. The Buddhist idealism treats Bhairav as the ferocious horizon echoing with the vibration of mind. Hayagriva is a worthful manifestation of Lord Avalokiteshvara, the god of compassion. There are 108 forms of Hayagriva. His special ability is to cure diseases, especially skin diseases, even as serious as leprosy, which is said to be caused by the Nagas. In Tibet, Hayagriva is considered as a worthful aspect of Avalokiteshvara. In Hindu iconography, Hayagriva is a horse-headed form of Lord Vishnu. In Kathmandu Valley, Hayagriva is worshipped as the chief Bhairav among all the ancient Bhairavs, the protector and ancestor of god of Bungamati. During the reign of King Narendra Deva, there was a severe drought in Nepal. Astrologers predicted that the rain were held back because Gorkhanath had trapped all the Nagas or serpent spirits who were responsible for rain. They also advised the king that the one way to release the snakes was to bring Karunamaya Machindranath, the compassionate one, to the Kathmandu Valley from Assam. The news of the Bodhisattva's arrival in the Kathmandu would surely force Gorkhanath to come to greet his teacher, and hence the Nagas would be free and the rain would come. King Narendra Deva, along with the Bhattacharya priest Bandhudatta and local farmer Ratnachakra, left for Kamarupa in present-day Assam to get Karunamaya Machindranath, who resided there as a young boy. The parents of Machindranath refused the request and overcame the threat using supernatural powers. King Narendra Deva then called four Bhairavs from the valley to help. According to the Harisiddhi Bhairav, Konde Bhairav, Lupto Sanraha Bhairav, and Londe Bhairav went to the rescue. They were able to convince the parents and city's dwellers to let go of Karunamaya Machindranath. As the story goes, the four Bhairavs then carried the boy Machindranath towards Nepal. The four wheels of Machindranath chariot that carries Karunamaya Machindranath through the pattern represent the four Bhairavs, and the eye painted on them have a flaming eyebrows to depict the ferocious ones. The chariot festival of Karunamaya each year is celebrated of this living heritage. As the story goes, the parents of Machindranath again used supernatural powers and made the chariot so heavy that even the Bhairavs could not lift it. The priest then turned the young boy into a bumblebee and brought him the rest of the way in a skirt flash kalash, the long wooden beam which is used to steer the innumerable structure represent the king of Nagas and has the marks of Hayagriva Bhairav at the front. In Kirat settlements, the concept of ancestor god is found. The scenario of arrival Machindranath, led by Hayagriva Bhairav of Bhugmamati, Swet Bhairav of Lubbu, Krodh Bhairav of Harisiddhi, Sanhar or Tika Bhairav of Lele, and Chandra Bhairav of Patan, Ikalaku to Nepal Mandal proves that Hayagriva Bhairav existed when Machindranath was brought here. When the red Machindranath or Bungadev brought from Assam in India was substituted for Bungamati, the Kathmandu Valley started to experience torrential rains. There is a two-story temple of Hayagriva Bhairav in the south corner of Bungamati. While there is no written record of when this temple was established, the inscriptions in the temple before the demolition indicates the existence of this temple since ancient times. As it shows pre-medieval art, the copper plate and the stone tablets of the Malla period mentioned in the context of repair and restoration have been found. This temple is believed to have been built in Nepal Samban 770. It is said that after the Machindranath was brought into Nepal, Hayagriva Bhairav himself played a major role in making him sit in a Bungamati. It is said that this image of Hayagriva Bhairav was uprooted by the king Mukunda Sen of Palpa by attacking Bungamati and taking it to Palpa. King Mukunda Sen of Palpa later apologized for his misdeeds and re-established again in Bungamati. The tradition of worshipping this forgiveness has been going on till today. Also, an elaborate worshipping of the Vairava of this temple takes place during the annual Manakamana Jatra. Mukunda Sen's reign is said to be from 1597 to 1632 Bikram Sambat. Meanwhile, there was a political instability in the Kathmandu valley after the death of King Yaksha Malla. Malla rule was divided and weak. Seizing that opportunity, Mukunda Sen repeatedly attacked the valley. Although he could not hoist his victory flag here, he has a history of causing great destruction. Bad luck begins in his life after Mukunda Sen replaces the statue of Hayagriva Bhairav in Palpa. Mukunda Sen starts having convulsions every night in his dreams. His unconquered army constantly tastes defeat on the battlefield. On the advice of royal priest, he performs for his luck. They do Homa Yagya and fast. Even after trying many measures, the royal priest said to him, "Your Majesty, ever since you uprooted the idol of Hayagriva Bhairav from Bungamati, the power of Sen Empire has started to decline. Isn't the power of Sen dynasty waning because of Hayagriva power?" Even Mukunda Sen's mind was confused by such speculations of the priest. He asked, "Then what should we do?" The royal priest suggested, "Majesty, let us take Hayagriva Bhairav from where you brought him and replace him with respect. We will establish a replica of it in Palpa." Mukunda Sen agreed. Mukunda Sen then brought Hayagriva Bhairav back to Bungamati and replaced him with a pardon. It is said that 108 snakes, 108 goats, 108 ducks, and 108 sheep were sacrificed during that time. There is still a temple of Vairavnath on the hill of Palpa. The idol there is considered to be the counterpart of Hayagriva Bhairav of Bungamati. After that, years later, there was a tradition of coming to Bungamati and worshipping for forgiveness. Mukunda Sen also built a Hayagriva Bhairav temple at Palpa similar to that of Bungamati. The Lord Bhairav of that temple was very scary and powerful that they never opened the door of the temple. After that, since the reign of Prithvinarayan Shaha, this worship for forgive has been conducted every year on the Navamiti of Dasai. Hayagriva Bhairav and Bhimsen was once friend. One day, Hayagriva Bhairav invited Bhimsen as a guest. Hayagriva Bhairav set aside a small portion of the meat of the buffalo to feed Bhimsen. Hayagriva Bhairav, however, started to eat the whole buffalo in the square behind the temple. Knowing this, Bhimsen was furious. On the day of Navami, Bhimsen sat cross-legged on the south door to prevent Hayagriva Bhairav from leaving the Machindra Bahal. He used to say to those who came and went, "I will not let anyone walk this way." His attitude of Bhimsen caused trouble not only to Hayagriva Bhairav but to all other god and goddesses living in Machindra Bahal. Ratha Machindranath was in trouble as Bhimsen was sitting with his leg spread out like that. Manakamana was troubled. Everyone cheered and reminded Bhimsen, but Bhimsen did not listen to anyone. On contrary, he looked for excuses with his pride of power. No one there had the strength to defeat Bhimsen, who had force of 10,000 elephants. Finally, Hayagriva Bhairav sought Hanuman's help to remove Bhimsen's yoke. Even in the Mahabharata, there is a story of Hanuman appearing to bring Bhimsen to his place after overcoming his power. Bhimsen ordered Hanuman, who is lying in the middle of the forest, to leave the path, saying, "Leave my path, monkey." Hanuman replies, "I am very weak, brave man. Remove my tail yourself and move on." Bhimsen initially tries to remove Hanuman's tail with one hand, but he can't, so he uses both of his hands. Bhimsen uses all his power and strength, but the tail does not wag. Then suddenly Bhimsen realizes the reality. Bhimsen is ashamed of showing his pride of power in front of Hanuman. He also learns the lesson of not treating anyone as poor or weak. A similar story of Mahabharata is repeated in Bungamati. Here too, Hanuman appears after Hayagriva Bhairav pleads to break Bhimsen's pride. Hanuman entangles Bhimsen in a bamboo banister and throws him out of the south gate of Bungamati. It is said that Bhimsen reached Dholaka after being chased in this way. Locals associate this story with the origin of Dholaka Bhimsen. This indicates that there was some ancient connection between Dholaka and Bungamati. People from Bungamati may have migrated to Dholaka for trade, and they may have taken the idol of Bhimsen with them. Bhimsen, that is Vidya, is considered by the Nevar community of Kathmandu to be deity of business or prosperity. It is not unusual for those who migrated for trade to take the gods of prosperity with them. There is also a saying that the trade and business do not flourish in Bungamati because the god of prosperity is chased away. Dholaka is the only place where the Red Machindranath Jatra is held like Bungamati. Their two Bungdia is carried on the chariot. If you look at the chariot there, it seems that a special kind of wheel was made to raise the hillock of the settlement. The Bhimsen in the temple of Dholaka Bhimsen is said to be the Bhimsena brought from Bungamati. Stories of Hayagriva Bhairav, Bhimsen and Hanuman are connected with Manakamana Jatra. On Dasami, Manakamana and Hayagriva Bhairav are worshipped throughout the day. On the same night, Mahathup or incense mixed with the 9 different elements is lit to Hayagriva Bhairav. The smoke of Mahathup begins to waft in the air of Bungamati. It is considered as a tantric method of summoning Hanuman to fight Bhimsen, who is blocking the way. If Hanuman doesn't appear with the Mahathup, it is customary to play Indrayani music. Even with these two methods, if Hanuman does not come, the priest of Rathamachindranath starts searching for Hanuman with his tantric Vidya. Manifestation of Hanuman means that the spirit of Hanuman ascends to a local portion of Bungamati. The spirit of Hanuman ascends to a person from the Japu community or Sakya and Tuladhar community of Kotatol. The one whom the soul ascends is considered as an avatar of Hanuman. Sometimes the spirit ascends to more than one person at the same time. At that time, there is a competition between them. The one who wins deserves a Bhimsen to Dholaka with a bamboo lingo. There are 14 mandapas in 14 places of Machindra Bahal. Bamboo lingo is buried alternatively on the Sayami night in those mandaps which are considered to be symbols of 14 bhuvans. The person carrying Hanuman's shawl comes jumping up on the bamboo and starts swinging. The bamboo lingo is moved to the entire 14 mandapas one after the other. Hanuman climbs it in turn. When a bamboo is buried in the mandap near the south door and Hanuman climbs on it, it is believed that the tip of the bamboo falls towards the ground and Bhimsena, who is sitting across the road, moves towards Dholaka. There are 2 reasons for burying a bamboo lingo in the 14 mandapas and Hanuman climbing on it. One is to see if the gods of all 14 bhuvans have come for the jatra, and other is to keep an eye on whether Bhimsena, who has reached Dholaka, will not return again. The story of Hayagriva Bhairav and goddesses Manakamana. In ancient time, 3 days before putting Bungamati on the chariot, Hayagriva Bhairav used to come to dance in the Papukya of Karyavinay complex. The rhythm and dance of Bhairav's ornament and other instruments could be clearly heard far and wide. Last time it was heard in the year 2024 Bikram Sambat, after which the sound of that dance was not heard after the idol of old Aju Sri Manakamana Mai covered with the gold jalap was stolen. In Bungamati, Manakamana is called Kunde Ajima and her husband is called Nande Aju. Ajima means grandmother in the Nevari language. She is a goddess who has been worshipped by the Nevar community of Kathmandu since ancient times. Manakamana is also considered by the locals of Bungamati as their adorable Ajima. According to the story, during the Jatra of Aju Aji Manakamana Mai in Bungamati, the door of the temple of Manakamana Mai in Gorkha remains closed. During the Aju Aji Jatra, which is held for 3 days on Navami, Dasami and Ekadashi, the doors of the Manakamana temple remain closed for 3 days. No worship is performed. Even the devotees who came for puja, the priest of the said temple would not perform any kind of puja for the mentioned 3 days. If they had to perform puja, they would go to Bungamati to do puja. According to a legend, one of Bungamati's Aju did not return home for a few days. Aji left the house to look for Aju, who did not return home, and while going around in search of Aju, she reached the place where Manakamana temple is located in the present-day Gorkha, and then she stopped and sat down there. Aji, who went in search of Aju, was known as Manakamana Mai when she was sitting in that place. For this reason, on 3 days of Dasai, Navami, Dashami, and Ekadashami, Bungamati during the Aju Aji Jatra, the temple located in Gorkha, is closed, and no kind of puja is performed, and the devotees who come to Bungamati are also asked to return. Later, Aji, who was looking for Aju, was found by Hayagriva Bhairav and brought her to his house. After understanding her and kept her in the house and fed her with various kinds of food. After Aju returned home, after not finding Aji in his house, after getting the news that Hayagriva Bhairav has kept her in his house, Aju went to Hayagriva Bhairav's house to get Aji, but Hayagriva Bhairav did not allow him to enter his house. For this reason, even if it's one day of Jatra, you can see the Aji is placed in the temple of Hayagriva Bhairav. Aji is kept with the Hayagriva Bhairav and Aju is kept outside. Just as Akash Bhairav of Indrachok, Kathmandu is considered to be the counterpart of the first Kiranti king Yalambara, as Panchali Bhairav of Teku is considered to be the counterpart of the Kiranti king of Verping or the second Kiranti king Pilam or Palambar. Similarly, Hayagriva Bhairav may also be the Kiranti king of Bungamati. He might be the 7th Kiranti king Hundi or the 8th king of Hurama according to the Gopal genealogy, or the king who is not included in the genealogy is the king Hayagriva as well. If we consider him as a Kiranti king, there may be some historical fact hidden in the description of the legend, like Hayagriva, the king of Bungamati, while expanding his kingdom to West Gorkha, was fascinated by the beauty of a queen there. Even in ancient history, it is not a big deal for powerful kings to kidnap queens of other countries. If so, this procession in particular may have been King Hayagriva's way of demonstrating to the public that his abducted queen and her husband are safe. And in memory of that, Manakamana Jatra may be going on in Bungamati till today. In my opinion, the practice of taking Manakamana Devi to Hayagriva Bhairav's room for one night during the Jatra indicates something in that direction. Manakamana Jatra in Bungamati is also known as Nandakunde Jatra. Thank you.